don't have to be quite as vigilant as the other areas of Trenton, Laredo, and Alpha, which is something the Weather Service has been working on, is trying to make these narrower and narrower and narrower, so when you actually get under one, you will respond and react, instead of when we had these ginormous ones, and people got a little apathetic when they were under those. They'd be like, well, I live way out here in North Salem, why do I have to worry about that? They understood that, and that's why they're doing that right now. All right.
You want to go ahead and put a track on it, or go ahead? I think it's already selected for you over there. So I think it's at about 20 miles per hour off to the southeast. Is not.
Oop.
Oh, go ahead. Oh.
We're both trying to do it. That's part of the issue right here. All right, let's get back up there. All right, so, I'm going to do, the hail core is right there.
That's the hail core and the tornado are pretty much located in the same spot over there. That's where they're putting. That's where they're putting us. Yeah, so they go Laredo around 8:15.
Yeah.
Let's check this tornado warning actual location of it. It goes until 8:15 for Grundy as well.
Yeah.
And so that is just on the edge of that tornado polygon. I'm going to zoom in and see if we can find some of these towns, because the reporting again of damage near Trenton. So this is like it's 65, part of 65.
Highway 65.
Highway going across 65 right now. Laredo. There's not. There are obviously streets here, but I'm not seeing a whole lot north of Farmersville. So Laredo, you need to be. At the very least, away from windows.
Look at that black in there. That is anytime we see black, we're like 100% sure that thing's producing severe hail, because the algorithms, we know them well enough, and we know that if you're seeing black, it's hail, it's big hail, it's going to cause damage. And so anytime black pops up there, even if you're at home, now you know that, hey, if I see a storm that Mike and Wes are showing and it's got black in it, okay, that's probably hail. And there you go, Wes has just pulled up the hail product, and you can see the 1 hour hail product. You want to go through that a little bit?
This pretty much it just tells us, hey, is there hail here? And there's definitely hail. If you're just joining us, we've seen baseball, we've seen softball. I think we had some grapefruit-sized hail to go along with this as well. So Laredo and Alpha, you guys are the ones that are really underneath the threat for seeing a lot of this giant hail. In fact, I'm going to go.
Sorry about that. I was trying to take off the warning.
Oh, go back.
Keep going.
North. There we go. Almost there. There we go. Almost there. All right, Gilman City, Coffeyville. It's a really, really small tornado warning, but just a massive hail streak. And that's what this severe thunderstorm warning is. It's for destructive hail that goes until 8:45. So not only is there a tornado warning, there is a severe thunderstorm warning as well. And so this whole mass, Gates, Hayesville, Shafter, Alpha, all this hail. Hecla, pardon me. I'm not familiar with that town. But a just massive amount of hail going this direction for those towns that I just mentioned, Mike.
Yeah, we've talked about that. Hail's going to fall over a much bigger area than the tornado, and that's why the tornado warning is much smaller. Tornado's going to be much smaller, a couple hundred yards, most of them are, but the hail's going to fall over square miles of area, and that's why you're seeing such a bigger polygon, and why more people need to be worried about the hail than possibly that tornado. But either way, with the size of hail we're getting, you should probably be downstairs also, or at least not be on a floor where the roof is right above you. If you can get maybe another layer before you. I'm not saying it's going to come through the roof. It's possible. I've seen grapefruit hail do it. Or if you have a skylight, it could be puncturing through there. Yeah. But you maybe want to be down on a lower level anyway, just because of the hail threat that is coming out of this particular storm.
I'm very surprised. It's not produced tornadoes. We had an hour and a half worth of tornado coverage, and these have had hooks on them, like very indicative of a tornado about to drop.
So
it's just not there. And the location of the tornado warning makes it seem like that if there's a tornado, you're not going to see it. It's full of hail and it's full of rain.
That's a good point.
And so it's right here apparently. So Laredo, just get to the interior part of your home. There may not be a tornado we're seeing right now with spotters up here, but hail in the very least, yeah, Mike, it's some dangerous stuff. Yeah,
we usually think of the tornado down here where the hook is, the appendage where Farmersville and Silverleaf, but the whole mesocyclone right here is. I got too close, sorry, is spinning, and because of that, it could pull the tornado into that, and that's why Wes was talking about it being rain wrapped or hail wrapped. This thing's been spinning for what, 4 hours?
Yeah, is it 4 o'clock? Yeah, I think one of the first thunderstorms started to develop around 4.
4 hours.
So yeah, 3 to 4 hours, I would say.
It has produced funnel clouds. We don't have any reports of damage from a funnel cloud, touching down and becoming a tornado. But we do have a few reports of the rear flank downdraft, kicking up some dust, maybe knocking over a tree limb or two. But so far, it's been out in the open. It's still a little brown up here. There's a lot of green, a little brown, so it could get a little dusty. But the fact that this thing could be rain wrapped and it's not as textbook and pretty as it was before is going to pose a challenge for all of our spotters that are up there. And there are at least a dozen to 15 people all around this system watching it. And that's how come we know so much about it, because we have so much ground truth from our spotters there. In fact, next time Wes talks, I'm going to get on and text our spotters and see exactly what they're talking about. But until then, yeah, Trenton, it's past you right now. Laredo, Alpha, it's on top of you. Farmersville, it's just north of you. So in Dunlap, yeah, you're probably getting some hail and maybe just starting to taper, but those are the 4 cities I'm most worried about right now as far as the potential for hail, and within that hail, in that rain shaft or that rain shield, the spin up of a tornado. Again, radar indicated out of this particular dangerous thunderstorm.
So I'm just going through some of the emergency manager responses here. I'm trying to get the location of the map to show you, but so debris covering Highway 6. Highway 6 at Southwest 52nd Avenue.
Look at the one right below that.
Yeah, a house collapsed at Southwest 52nd and Highway 6. A lot of hail. This is one of those situations in which, if it's baseball-sized, grapefruit-sized hail falling, that can do damage in itself, in addition to the threat of a tornado. And so this is just a dangerous situation.
It's a monster.
Tornado or not, the hail is going to be right here. It's going to be right near Laredo, and that matches up a little bit better with the tornado situation. So
look at this scan. Look at how much more black's in this scan than the last one.
It's not good.
That this storm is intensifying as we speak, because look at the black and how much more black there is in there. That is how much more energy is being reflected, and the bigger the object within that storm, the more energy it's going to reflect back to the radar, and the more energy it reflects, the higher the resolution, or the DBZ value is what we call it. That's the amount of energy, and that's why we have it painted that color. And that black means, yeah, between Farmersville, Trenton, Dunlap, and probably in Laredo right now, you are getting at least golf ball, if not baseball, and possibly grapefruit-sized hail out of the storm. That's what it's had a history of producing.
Yeah, you're right. It's almost tough to say possible, because it's like it.
It's already done that.
It's done. Let me double check the warning.
It just hasn't produced a tornado yet that we know of.
Moving east at 40 miles per hour. All right,
so we have picked up speed.
East of 40, baseball-sized hail, 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Again, let me just I'm just going to read the language that the National Weather Service uses here to try and get the point across that this is very dangerous. People and animals outdoors will be severely damaged. Expect shattered windows, extensive damage to roofs, siding, and vehicles.
Especially manufactured homes.
Yes.
With those metal roofs.
Yeah, this is called a destructive storm. Obviously, we get different levels. We have damage levels. This is I think this is the highest level that you can give a severe thunderstorm warning because of the hail. Let me do one of these other little time arrivals here. Laredo, it's on top of you right now, Laredo. Another little one, we can get nothing coming on this one, but yeah, Laredo, Alpha, get away from the windows, get to your tornado safe place. Do they still have a tornado warning in effect for this? Yeah, we still do.
Yes.
Yeah, it goes until 8:15. So this is a double whammy. You have hail now. Lindley, Galt, Parsons, Haseville. Everybody, get away from your windows. Get to the interior of your home as this hail comes down. Mike, go ahead.
It's just too late. It's too late to go outside and try to protect anything. It's too late. It's there. It's something you're just gonna have to sit through, and it's gonna be loud. I mean, I've been through baseball size hail. I've never been through grapefruit size hail, but I've been through baseball size hail, And it's going to be loud. It's going to be really loud, especially if it's hitting a metal roof. And it's going to scare, it's going to probably put some fear into your kids or your animals, especially the animals, because not only will the loud noise startle your animals, but the pressure drop, it gets into their ears. Their ears are so sensitive to that. So that is something else. And they're going to play off the way you handle it. Not giving you a lecture, but in my experiences, the calmer you are, the calmer the kids will be. And the animals, you just do whatever you can to keep them calm and reassure them. But just talk them through the situation. Just tell them what's happening and what could happen. And it's just really loud. It's like fireworks. Fireworks, they don't hurt you as long as you're inside. And just kind of walk them through what exactly is going to happen there. Because even on a regular A-frame house, if you will, not necessarily a manufactured home, when you hit baseball-sized hail hits the roof, it is unnerving. It really is. So you still have some time in some of these other places, but like Laredo, Lindley, Galt, Alpha, Parsons, Farmersville, Chula, you just need to stay inside and let it pass. And it could take off siding. It could break windows. It's just going to be heartbreaking to see some of the damage out there. I mean, this is moving into a little more populated area than some of the last warnings that we have. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up some of these pictures because I just got some more some more tennis ball size hail.
And the spikes on some of these hail balls. We had one that was a baseball size, but if you remember all the pictures of the coronavirus with the ball with the spikes coming out of it, that's exactly what the baseball hail looked like. It was unnerving. And then the golf ball size hail, where it almost looks like a pumpkin that's been squashed. It's not as round. I think maybe a lot of friction as it's falling down may pancake it just a little bit as it's falling down to the ground.
If you guys can take the traffic computer, that source has the picture of this hail. Thank you. Yeah, this tennis ball size hail. There's a whole mix. You got tennis balls. Like I got some golf balls in there. Yeah, this is like it's like a ninja star ball falling because it has this like very dangerous spikes on them. As well. It was 8 o'clock in Southwest Grundy County, so that was 10 minutes ago. Let's show people where the hail is right now. But we just this is legit happening. We just have to show you the pictures to be like this. There's tennis balls made of ice falling from the sky up here.
Up to 80, 90 miles per hour,
Yeah.
It could be falling, and if that hits you,
These are the kind of storms that unfortunately they kill livestock. They kill animals that are outside that are not able to get out of the way. I mean, you standing underneath the tree limbs will break. And so this is a really, really dangerous situation. It's still tornado warning for the next 5 minutes. Let me just see where the rotation is at on this.
yeah, it's almost out of the polygon. So
Yeah,
it's getting close to, Laredo and Alpha. Now that, you can see the rotation a little bit farther south now.
looks like it's super windy as well. I think it's the inflow
Yeah.
coming in right there. So really windy in Shafter, Hecla or Hesla, but yeah, Lindy, Hasselville, really, really large hail coming out. Let me put a track on this real quick, Mike, and then I'll get back to you. This is going to be about 30, we'll call it 33, 32, and okay, there's nothing coming up there.
What about-
which is, I literally hope there are no towns there
Exactly.
or people there.
I was thinking maybe we go to
Nasty.
velocity.
Okay.
Because what I'm seeing from mobile weather on Twitter is the rear flank downdraft, when it was going through Albany, looked like a tornado.
Oh.
And I don't want people to get confused between the rear flank downdraft and what an actual tornado is. The rear flank downdraft is just the cold air spinning around the backside of the tornado, and sometimes it can actually help enhance the spin of the tornado. It can help create more twist and more buoyancy, and don't want you to confuse that for exactly what a tornado is. We haven't seen a tornado out of this yet, but you get that rear flank downdraft coming down, and when it hits the ground and picks up some of the dust, is what I'm seeing. It looks like it's rotating, but it's not a tornado. It's not moving fast enough.
I'm gonna query some of these pixels over here. We've seen these bright
kind of
greens.
show us the winds,
Yeah, bro, there's these super bright greens, 56. Let's see if we can get some other ones in here.
Those are going into the storm.
Yeah, and then probably down here it'll be even stronger. Yeah, 78 miles per hour. This is a little removed above the surface, but it's so windy to go along with the hail. In Eversonville, let's see if we can get some of these.
So the wind's and the wind's coming in from the southeast right now, right?
Yeah.
But once this thing passes you, and that wind starts coming in from the northwest and west, and it's going to be, that's going to be the rear flank downdraft coming in. And you don't get much damage with that sometimes, a little bit.
Yeah. Massive, just massive blob. I'm just like, tough for me to speak right now because we don't really see hail, a storm producing hail for baseball size to tennis ball size hail for 3 hours straight.
And this is something like you'd see in Texas
or South Dakota, or maybe southern or western Kansas or Nebraska. Kansas at one point held the world record for the largest hail, and then 2 weeks later, South Dakota beat that world record for the largest hail. And so we don't see hail this large, lasting this long, affecting so many people.
Okay, I think we got a new tornado warning.
Okay.
845, Grundy, Lynn, Livingston.
Yep. That includes Brookfield, Laclede, and Linneus, Missouri. Those are the towns, not the counties.
And the key is, again, it's radar indicated. So we haven't seen touchdown yet, but the potential is there for it to happen. I mean, that is just a massive mesocyclone to have hail that big, to carry the updraft, to carry grapefruit-sized hail. It has to be almost 100, 105 miles per hour.
Yeah, I think I remember you.
You're going like that.
I think you did some research on that for
right.
one of our specials, one of our weather specials. We talked about that. That's crazy. All right, here's the new tornado warning. Lynn is in this until 8:45. I think a part of Livingston, maybe Grundy, is in this as well. It's gonna be right there, right where the air is starting to go in. Mike, I think this is going at 40 miles per hour, I want to say.
Yes.
So I'll draw that out real quick.
And when you're finished there, let me tell you what's going on to the east.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not through with this storm.
Okay, there's Linneus around 8:30. Same thing, Purden around 8:30. Grantsville 8:30, 8:32. Brookfield around 8:41. All those are within the tornado. Mike, what's going on out east?
All right, there's a 95% chance that we're going to have another watch issued to the east from about Ottumwa, Iowa, through Kirksville, down to Moberly and eastward because of this storm. And there's another storm developing up near Ottumwa. There you go. You can see it right. It's this storm. So right here is where we're going to have another watch issued shortly because this line may actually start to fill in a little bit. I haven't had a chance to read it, but it's just talking about the upscale growth of these ongoing storms. It's going to continue into east-southeast, moving. It's going to become an MCS tonight, and that means this thing's going to last all night because it's just going to sit there and feed off the instability, and it's going to take the path with the greatest instability, the greatest amount of energy, and the least amount of resistance, and that means it's going to continue heading off mainly to the east.
So it looks like one of the Methodist churches in Grundy County has lost a very large portion of its roof. A lot of buildings along Main Street has windows blown out. This is in Trenton. This is in the city of Trenton. One of the churches there lost about half its roof, and buildings along Main Street in Trenton have a lot of windows blown out. That could easily be from the wind or from the hail.
Isn't that crazy to think that could be hail damage? You could lose 40 to 50% of your roof because of baseball to grapefruit size hail. That's just astonishing to think that. And the windows are going to be blown out because of the hail. I mean, hail like that doesn't come down sideways, thankfully. I mean, that's not the reason why. Oh, my goodness. This is amazing. I mean, we've talked about how this was a textbook storm, earlier when it wasn't producing this. And now this is going to be one of those that, the kids at Mizzou and probably KU and Iowa State are going to take a look at it and probably do some papers on it just to see what exactly was going on in the middle of this storm to produce what the ingredients were needed to produce this. All right, so tornado warning. Just reissued that also too, right?
Yeah, that came out a couple minutes ago. Around 8, yeah, about 5 minutes ago.
Right, for Grundy, Lynn, and Livingston until
Yeah.
8:45.
It's east at 40 miles per hour. And they're adding the risk of 2-inch hail. I think that is tennis ball. It's either tennis ball or lime size hail as well, which is obviously not the biggest hail we've seen today, but that's
All right.
definitely still going to it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt you.
Hopefully Laredo's coming out of it, but is that Haseville? I'm not as familiar with my north central Missouri towns. I apologize. Shafter, Parsons, Lindley. They must be just getting a beating right now. I mean, look at all of that black in there. That is what we know. Look at that, 71 dBz. When's the last time you saw that much energy being reflected from a storm?
So just look at our legend. I know people probably don't know what's a decibel. It sounds like a music thing, right? Look at our legend. We're maxing out our legend. We're essentially maxed out. The heavy, we're almost to the white, and we got a little bit of that white stuff in there, trying to max out. I wonder which one that is. Let me just double check that we aren't seeing any sort of debris with this system. All right, this is tough because sometimes hail gets in here and it starts to trick our radar product. Mm-hmm. And so we're gonna make sure which one's turned on is not the debris indicator, because that's important for us to know. But what we're looking for when we see debris is a little blue area or a green area like that.
Seen a little green.
I'm not confident to say anything about if that's confirmed into a tornado or not. Again, hail will mess with this. Will mess with the ability to see the storm very well. But that is definitely something that we're going to keep an eye on, and the National Weather Service will let us know if that indeed is some sort of a debris signature. In fact, Mike, if you want to ask that in there, you can, because let me just double check that is in the same spot where the velocity matches up with it as well. It's so messy. It's really messy. So hail produces so much energy. The reason why it's difficult is because hail sends back a ton of energy to our radar. And so that can mess with the products that we're seeing to help indicate if it's how it's rotating or if it's lofted up debris or not. Well, I hope that was not just turned off. I hope it just decided to dig us off by itself. But whenever we're looking at stuff to give us debris, this is very indicative of it. I'm gonna leave my finger on it because you have to kind of cross-reference the. Oh, that's not helping at all. You have to cross-reference the velocity with it. So it's right there. It's a little hook right there. Yeah, we'll see what the National Weather Service ends up doing with this. But I think in the meantime, we need to.
They're still talking about a tornado possible. They're not saying our chasers. Let me text our chasers real quick.
Good idea. I think it's a good idea. Let me just give some of the PERD in around 8:35. Same thing for Linneus around 8:35. Grantsville 8:40. Brookfield around 8:50 as well. We'll zoom in on and try to get some more towns that are being impacted by this massive core of hail. Let me get rid of you real quick. All right, it's on top of Hayesville, Shafter, Purden. This is going toward Browning, Enterprise in Missouri. Parsons likely seeing some hail as well. Into Cora, Browning, that's Highway 5. It's going to pass over Highway 5, again with tennis ball size hail. Enterprise, Grantsville, you're more in line of the tornadic part of the storm. You're in this tornado warning, but the hail is the concern north of you, Grantsville, into Browning right now. Hessia or Helsla, Eversonville, it's probably some small hail for you guys as well. We're not seeing quite those dark returns on the map.
We're definitely getting into a more populated area. We were jumping up to around 7,600 people affected by this, 9 schools, and at least 1 hospital. So before this storm was, a less populated area. It was going through one that was about half this population. So there's going to be, and it's producing bigger hail, and it's producing bigger hail over a more populated area, and that's why we're going to see more damage out of this, and the price of the damage is going to be much higher. All right, just talking to one of our storm chasers, Steve. He's repositioning himself near Meadville. Lightning is becoming an issue, and he's trying to get one last glimpse in the notch. So he is in the notch. So he is in the area right where Linnaeus, where the air is flowing in, and just south of Grantsville there, that's where you're seeing the incredible amount of inflow. You showed it. It was like, what was it, 70 miles per hour of inflow? It was amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot. I'm trying to turn on the lightning there, Mike. If you want to do it for me, go ahead.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
And let's do that one.
a lot of lightning.
So 674 strikes. Look at the yellow ones too.
Yeah, yellow are those positive lightning strikes.
Yes.
They're the extra deadly ones. I'm gonna put a chat in here and see what's going on with the.
So what we're going to do right now is we're going to talk to the Weather Service. We've got the questions about what we're seeing, especially with that debris product. So we're in a chat room with them. We're going to send them a quick question. Wes is going to send them a quick question, asking them, if they're seeing the same thing and how are they interpreting it, and what their spotters are also seeing, because they have spotters out there also. So while Wes is doing that, we can talk about the lightning. I mean, the lightning is increasing, as our spotter said. Now we're up to 708 strikes. What makes the yellow ones, as Wes mentioned, dangerous because they have more energy with them. And there's still some brown ground out there, and we haven't heard of any fires, but that's always a possibility. But there's also the possibility if it hits something like a church, or if it hits a house that is not protected as well as it could be or should be, then you have a fire, then you have a problem. And remember that if it gets into anything metal, the metal can also stretch that lightning to other areas and different areas outside of where it initially hits the ground. That's why I always say you gotta stay away from metal objects, stay away from the shower, stay away from anything like that where your house reaches out past its perimeter, where lightning could actually get into the ground and come in, or come through a wire if your wires are coming into your house above ground. That's another thing you have to think about. The lightning could hit those, energize those, and then that would come straight into your house. So now we're up to 726. So this thing is a monster with the lightning also. I'm going to put some skits on here and see right there, right in the middle of that hail. All right, so this does put a track on it, and I'm going to say it's Perdine in Grantsville, or Purdon. Purdon?
Purdy? Oh, Purdon.
Purdon, okay. Purdon in Grantsville, 845, 852. Hail, 100% severe hail. 90% of this thing is producing 3¼ inch size hail. So that's bigger than baseball out of this particular one. The BTI, though, is only 3, which means it's maybe losing a little bit of its characteristic for a tornado. But that doesn't mean, come out of your shelter or let your guard down or keeps you from going to your shelter if you're in Grantsville or Brookfield and you're not there yet, or Linnaeus, because you definitely want to be down there right now. Hopefully that trend continues. Let's put this in motion. I just want to see what it's done over the last half hour or so. It's interesting to see that notch open and close a couple of times.
Yeah, it keeps on fighting, trying to get that that warm air in there, and that's good. Okay, notice how we have that little tube flash away. I think that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Pardon me. That's good. That was an indication that maybe it was indeed the hail that was causing the radar to look like there was debris. So what we're able to do is we're able to see like the different shapes of materials that are flying in the sky. And so if you have a bunch of hail with spikes on it, it can sometimes trick the radar to make it look like there's debris, because debris is a bunch of different shapes. Like you have dirt, you have wood, just pieces of home, pieces of buildings essentially get lofted up in the storm, and then our radar can see that there's something weird in there, because raindrops all fall the same way. They fall like a flat pancake. And so there was, it looked like for a few minutes, there was that instance in which we thought maybe this was a tornado on the ground, but a latest scan is not confirming that is good. And it's not out of the question that maybe like for 2 minutes, maybe it was on the ground.
Is that go through it one more time.
Okay.
Because, we had, per Grundy County EM, Emergency Management, we had those 4 structures west of Trenton near 52nd and Highway 6 destroyed.
Yeah.
Did that thing pop up? No, it popped up after Trenton. Interesting.
There's the Trenton was in that tornado warning.
That is. Yeah. They were in the tornado warning, no doubt, but that other signature popping up was well after. There it is right there. So that wasn't it. So, they're going to have to go out there and see exactly what that was. They haven't answered your question. Let's see. Local storm reports. Reports tornado, 745. Building damage and house collapse. Debris covering Highway 6 and Southwest 52nd Street. So it was a tornado that created the damage. The 4 structures that were damaged west of Trenton near 52nd and Highway 6. That happened around 7:45. So we were definitely on air and tracking it at that point in time, I believe. We got this is another severe thunderstorm warning for Grundy, Lynn, Livingston, Sullivan until 8:45. Okay, that's just, continues the one that's out there right now. Okay.
They just extended. We'll take this out of a loop real quick to try and give people a view of where it's coming, because they're waiting for this new severe thunderstorm warning to pop up, or maybe they just trimmed it. I think they just trimmed it. But still, this hail is so wild. Let's zoom in on it and see where it is.
Brookfield, we haven't mentioned Brookfield. Laclede, and we've mentioned Linnea. So there's a couple of cities that we need to remember. Brookfield and Laclede also.
There's Brookfield. Brookfield down there. Brookfield's in the warning.
Apple-size hail. Oh my!
Was that a report that just came in? Apple-size hail.
That's the severe thunderstorm warning. Continues for Brookfield, Laclede, and Linnea until 8:45. This destructive storm will contain large apple-sized hail.
Please. I don't think I've only been doing this for like 9-10 years, but I don't think I've heard of apple-sized hail.
All right, I got you. I got almost 30. That would be a no. That would be a hard no also.
I mean, maybe like I've heard a different type of, maybe it was like a different shape. I've heard of softball.
Nobody's ever said apple.
I think a softball is bigger than an apple, but I think an apple probably maybe is a little bit bigger than a tennis ball, at some point. They use like common shapes to try and give you an idea of how big the hail is. Like if we said 4-inch hail, that really wouldn't come across very well. And so they use common shapes.
That's a good point. Good point.
To try and like get this figured out. Okay, so the apple-sized hail, possible. Shafter, Flag Road, Fawn Road, Flint Road, Falk Road. Looks like Jim Road, Gord Road, all these roads. I'm going to live on these roads. Please get away from your window. This is a hail situation. Gardner, not Gardner, Garner in northern Missouri, North Salem in northern Missouri. You guys need to start getting away from your windows. It's on the way. Don't go try to move your car inside.
Too late.
Not going to make it.
No.
Okay, so the possible tornado is going to be right here near Linneus, and it's going east. And let's see if maybe there are some other cities. I'm seeing a lot of farmland that is good. I think this is also I don't know if we've passed already, but there's a lot of Amish folks that live up here as well. So it's a very rural area. We got Genoa Road, Folk Road, Grid Road, Garden Road, Getty Road. If you live along these, please get to your tornado safe place. There's Laclede. This is the city of Laclede, Missouri, the county. Brookfield, Missouri, obviously, right along Highway 36. There's 36 there. Highway 5 goes up. So the possible tornado is going to be right near Linneus and going across Highway 5 at this point. Let me turn on the velocity just to make sure.
One thing to remember too, Wes, while you're doing that, is it's getting dark.
Yeah.
It's getting dark. It takes on a whole different situation now that it's getting dark. That's why we have to start relying more on the radar and a little bit less on our spotters that'll be able to see things because there's so much lightning. They'll be able to see it, but now we've really got to rely more heavily on our technology. And so even if it's a radar indicated at this point, with the sun going down and us not being able to verify it visually as easily, I just think it gives more credence to the warning and more smarts, if you will, for you to go ahead and act upon it and go to your safe place. I mean, this thing hadn't produced a tornado. It had been spinning for 3.5, 4 hours, and all of a sudden, now we are almost 45 minutes away, and it's like, oh yeah, it did produce one in Trenton. And no one saw it. I mean, of all the spotters we had out there, and that's another thing. Sometimes you won't see the tornadoes, just air, but when the air creates condensation, then you see the cloud form in the funnel. But if it doesn't, some of them, sometimes you can't see them until you'll maybe see half of it, and then you don't see the bottom half until it starts throwing up debris and throwing up. So it could have been a case where we had so many spotters out there and they just didn't see it, or they weren't close enough, or you could only see half of it and you couldn't see the bottom half of it. Because here we are, like I said, 45 minutes later, and we're just now finding out, yeah, that was probably a tornado that went through Trenton and caused the damage over that. So right now, according to one spotter out there, lowering of clouds, no touchdown, heavy winds northwest of Linnaeus.
Okay.
That's one spotter. Our spotter was listening to amateur and sound like RFD winds on the damage. So maybe it wasn't a tornado. So they're going to have, either way there was damage.
Yeah.
And it just proves again that how, even though we mention a tornado, there are so many other components within this thunderstorm that will create damage, whether it's the rear flank downdraft, whether it's the hail coming out of this. It's just not the small area of where a tornado is. That's why the polygons are the size they are, because within this entire polygon is the sweet spot for where the damage could happen. If you only did where the tornado was, it'd be much smaller, but we know that other things are going to cause damage, such as the rear flank downdraft, that rush of cold air on the backside. And we even had a gustnado last week, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, it literally just formed, of course, there were like 15 planes just sitting outside of their hangar, like the worst possible spot for the little tornado to develop.
So that's also why gustnado forms at the front of the storm, where the gust front is. It has nothing to do with the mesocyclone. It's completely detached from it. It just happens to be a tube of air that is lifted by the gust front, which is a mini cold front, and it turns that a horizontal tube of air vertical, and it creates a little bit of damage like it did at the downtown airport. So that's why, even though we fixate a lot on a specific spot where we think the greatest potential for damage is, there's possibility of damage all throughout this box. And I don't want you to lose sight of that, or us to lose sight of that also, because we keep showing you where we think the greatest potential is. But remember, that's why the box is the side it is. Now, with the rotation of a thunderstorm to rear flank downdraft, yes, it's a smaller area. That's why your tornado warning is smaller than your destructive severe thunderstorm warning, because the hail is going to be over square miles, whereas a tornado rear flank downdraft will be less than a mile, more than likely. So that is something we're going to keep in mind, and something we want you to keep in mind as we continue to watch this. So we still got 10 minutes left in this warning. And we've got right now a report of a funnel cloud south of Linnaeus. So there you go.
All right.
And
let me,
right down on that Highway 5. Between there and, was it Laclede?
Let's see. I'll take this out of motion real quick, and then we'll get it figured out. So there's, Brookfield, Laclede, down. It's going to be right here. If the tornado's trying to develop, it's going to be right here. So if people are in Brookfield, they're looking north, they should be able to see it. Let's zoom in on this real quick. I don't think there's a whole lot of us. North of Brookfield, looks like it's 11, Highway 11. The north of 36, right here, is where the tornado would be developing. St. Catherine, get ready. You may be put underneath the tornado warning here within the next 10 minutes. This is running out of its polygon. The hail situation now on top of Grantsville. Really big hail, again, as big as tennis balls to baseball size hail in Grantsville.
Oh.
Bear Branch, Shelby, Mike?
Okay,
Shelby.
this is not confirmed, but I'm seeing a tornado has been confirmed north of Linnaeus. You know who Reed Timmer is. We need to get more truth than that, but that's what's coming across right now. And it just bears it. Yeah, everybody's saying, I've seen more people on Twitter talking about.
We got it now. All right, it's
large
it's
tornado.
Tornado, okay.
Tornado in Linnaeus. Tornado near Linnaeus, Missouri. If you haven't taken shelter, there's no reason not to now. Now we have truth that it is actually producing a tornado. The funnel cloud has reached the ground. Are you going to put in that? Let's show where it is, and then maybe you can go back to that one product and show where the possible debris is.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. So it's right on
Look
Linneus.
at that.
Did they give a look? It's right here.
It's right on. They say it's right on
Linneus.
top of it.
Yeah, it's right on Linneus. If you are east of Linneus, you've got to get to your tornado safe place. This is serious. This is serious stuff. East of Linneus,
Yeah, this
south
just-
of Grantsville,
Just turned
south
up
of
another
Bear
notch.
Branch.
Yeah.
Right here. Let's see if we need to zoom in on some more of these towns. Grid Road, Getty Road, Genoa Road, Garden Road. It is going down these roads right now. It is going east. Getty Road. Let's put a track on this. Mike, can you tell me what the speed of it was on that latest track? It was going about 40 miles per hour last time.
Let me see. 30. East at 30.
All right.
And
follow the polygon.
I'm looking at another chaser, large tornado, rain wrapped most likely.
Okay.
So that just takes it up to another level. So we've gone from baseball size hail, apple size hail, to now a tornado, to a rain wrapped tornado, which is very hard to see.
All right. So Linneus, what else? Who else is in this? We're going to start pointing out some highways here.
And it's changed direction. It's moving due east now. Before it was moving a little bit north of east.
Yeah. Java Road, I just had an update. Jameson Road, Jaffa Road, pardon me. It is now east of Linneus. It's right here. Getty Road. What else we got coming out here? We gotta get some more. Grid Road, Gas Road,
Genoa.
Genoa Road. Okay. Again, this is a confirmed tornado warning for Lynn County until 8:45. This will get extended. That means Johnstown, Benson, Brookfield, Buckland, Harts. You guys have got to start getting things ready.
Look at that gate-to-gate shear.
Produce, or you have to start getting things ready to get to your tornado safe place. Linneus, if you were east of Linneus, I cannot stress this enough. You have got to get into a basement, a room without any windows. Genoa Road, Gas Road. Mike, you mentioned we need to look at the debris signature on this.
Yes.
Let's do that right now.
I mean, look at that gate-to-gate shear. We kept talking about how we wanted to see the rotation get smaller, because it was very broad about a half hour ago, 45 minutes ago, when it was producing baseball-sized hail, and they were like, well, we want to see it get smaller, and we want to see it get smaller, and we want to see it get smaller, because that means it's spinning up, and that means it's more likely to break it down to the ground, and you're seeing that green right there. That is a possible debris signature in Grantsville. So just to the east of Highway 5, heading towards Gardner and Johnston, Enterprise, North Salem, possibly if it rotates northward. But Gardner and Johnston, you need to be right now, calmly, but quickly, if you're not there already, lowest floor, most interior room, get as many walls between you and that debris that is showing up on the radar, and get as many walls between you and that. Stay away from the windows. Take the radio with you, turn the TV up loud, just get to your safe place now. Some are talking about a wedge. Now, again, this is spotters out there. There's been a couple of reports from them of a large, nearly wedge tornado, with gate-to-gate shear up to 170 miles per hour.
I'm going to double check with our spotter
Yeah.
here.
Steve,
To the wall with this.
yeah. Go ahead, you can read it.
Yeah, so one of our storm spotters, and maybe we can check his stream actually, because I have it up over
don't you
there,
do
but
that and I'll
I don't
do
want
this.
to put it on TV yet, because we may not be able to actually see anything. Hold on, just a second on that.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were checking the stream.
So let me just.
Oh, it's so dark. It is so dark right now.
Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on the stream. I know we're talking about this and like show it to us. There's really nothing to show you quite
You can't
yet.
see it. You
but
can't see anything.
if it becomes apparent, we will definitely we will definitely show it to you. Let me get a different track on this, because it's not giving me any towns, and we need to get towns on this.
Okay.
40 miles per hour. It'll be out of the polygon, but that's okay.
Yeah, they gotta.
So it's Buckland at 9:04.
I got some report of damage.
Go ahead.
Preliminary, not confirmed. Spotter is 3 miles west of Linneus. Large tornado just passed by this location. Farm building roof ripped off. 3 miles west of Linnaeus. Okay. So it was at least moving through a smaller populated area, less populated area, I think would be the proper English, a lesser populated area. So we have a pretty big tornado rolling just to the east of Linnaeus now, just barely to the east and just to the south of Grantsville.
So these towns that are pulling up, you are not in the warning yet, but
You will be.
they're working on it.
Yeah.
So St. Catherine, Buckland, around 9 and 9:05. Hearts, 9:05, 9:10. Lingo, around 9:10 as well. Kids, if you're watching us and your parents aren't paying attention, go over to them and say, hey, come look at this, Mom and Dad. I think we need to go to our tornado safe place. If you're living in these towns, kids, Lingo, Hart, it's really important that you just get to your safe place. It's going to be okay. Just go to your basement. Go to your storm shelter. It's going to be okay. But it's really important that you take shelter so we can keep you safe. All right. So there's the latest location of the tornado right there. Let me zoom in on this real quick. It's between Grantsville and Linnaeus. It's now moving on Garden Road, on Grid Road as well. Lost it there. Grid Road, Getty Road.
That's
Genoa Road, it's Jansen Road, Jaffa Road as well, Gas Road. I know we've called out these. I know we've called out these roads like 100 times already. But this is a large tornado on the ground.
And we know it's there. It's on the ground. It is causing damage. It is going to cause damage, and that's why we want to make sure we repeat in case someone's just now tuning in. They got the alert and they're like, oh my goodness, what's going on? And they're tuning in. So we want to keep repeating some of this stuff as more and more people join us just to let them know what's going on. So I'm seeing 3.5-inch size hail out of this thing, which is, I don't want it to take a back seat, but it kind of has to take a back seat, even though that's going to cause more widespread damage than the tornado. But the tornado could cause more extensive damage and is the more dangerous part of this one. We're all looking at our phones. Yeah, the tornado warning was just...
I think
extended to 9:15.
All right, so we got I think we can show our storm chaser now. So this is storm chaser Steve Pauley. He is on this tornado. Let me take it full. I'll take it full screen.
Yeah, he says he has a visual wedge to my northeast.
Okay. Yeah, guys, keep that full screen right there. He's trying to go through all of this lightning here. We're going to see, it's rural, it's going to be extra tough to get the signal. But we're trying to get a view of this tornado through all the lightning. Sorry, I'm going to get out of the way. Through all the lightning. If Christina, if you can give me the number of the phone line for our storm chaser to call in. If you just want to...
Yeah, just tell it to us and I'll text it to him real quick. And...
or maybe able to give him this number right there.
Okay, we'll give him that one.
We'll try that. Okay, so this is again one of our storm chasers, Steve Pauley. He's on this tornado, driving. I imagine maybe on like 36. We'll see.
Well, he says it's to the northeast of him.
Okay.
So if that helps give you a bearing.
Okay, let's see if we can stay with us just for a little bit longer before we have to start giving people more spots. All right, so that is the additional tornado warning. It came across a couple minutes ago.
It's just hard to see. I can't. I mean, it's probably easier for him to see with him being there and his eyes adjusting to it a little bit better.
Yeah.
But as far as the camera trying to pick it up, it's not obviously going to be as good as our... Oh, that's too bad.
All right, so let's go back. Let's go back to this tornado warning and draw it out again for Lynn County until 9:15. This is now the latest data from 8:46. All right, so it's now going toward Johnstown, south of Johnstown. Down here, Jansen Road, Kaiser Road, Jewel Road, all those right there. Let me put a track on this real quick, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the live stream on one of our other Lynx computers, and so we can pull that up at times to see if it actually becomes of anything. But at this point, it's going to be here at about 40. So Buckland 9, New Cambria around 9:10 to 9:15. With that, let me make sure that it's still in a good spot. Okay, that's a good spot. New Cambria again around 9:15 to 9:10. Let me add some more
So now it's even heading southeast
More cities to this.
more than it was heading east.
East to southeasterly. All right, so Benson, you're not on this. You're not on this list, but I need to get to you. Excuse me. You need to get to your tornado safe place as well. Johnston, you're not on either, but you're into the tornado warning
Anywhere
on the
within
situation. Okay. Got it. All right.
All right, I will do that. Thank you.
So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to the wall real quick while we try to negotiate that situation and look at some of the hail. So Johnston, you're in the tornado warning, and it's way too close to call. Tornado safe place for you guys in Johnston. Gardner, Grantsville. Grantsville, the storm is almost gone. It's hailing. You don't leave your safe place if you're listening
Not
to us,
yet.
Johnston. Buckland, you need to be getting to your storm shelter. You need to be getting to your basement. Everything.
Hart.
Let me go ahead and see. Yeah, that's it.
It's just right between
That's
those
the
three
tornado.
cities right now, Grantsville, Gardner, and Benson. I mean, that's right on Johnstown. Oh,
Just south of Johnston. This is going to go toward Benson. Take this. They're
Hart.
trying to press it southeast. It's now just south of Johnston. We just had that upgrade. Just had that update.
9:30 now.
Benson. 9:30.
9:30, the tornado warning.
Okay.
All right, here's some more damage.
Okay. Macon County. You're including that. Sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
Spotter, northwest of Linneus, in the northwest part of town. Power out in town. Radio tower snapped in half. Minor structural damage. Numerous trees and power lines down. That is in the northwest part of Linneus. That's where this particular spotter was.
Okay.
That is a preliminary spotter report. So yeah, it's the purple box that's blinking. It's blinking for a reason. It's purple for a reason. It's because we know the tornado. It is a tornado. It's not a funnel cloud. It has reached the ground. It has become a tornado. And that's why we know this is a particularly dangerous situation, more so than we've had the rest of the 5 or 6 hours we've been tracking this particular storm where it was just producing funnel clouds. So the most likely place there is where Wes has it. Wes has got that inflow notch picked up right there. Just to the north of that is where we saw the debris signature from the radar, some of the stuff that the tornado picks up, we can see it. And that is all heading to Benson, Hart, and Buckland. And it's moving faster than it was before. And it's accelerating, which gives you even less time to find your safe space. Now, if you're out on the road, Hammock, Kern, Cache, you should be doing the same thing. You should, if not down there, you should be prepared to move on down there. Granted, this polygon says it's going to be to the edge of here in about another 50 minutes or so. Just because of that, but it could move past that within that time frame, and that's why I'm saying you may as well be ready. Also, let's take a look at that. Let's bring it down here. Oh, come on down. All right, let's turn that off. There's an issue. All right. Yeah, so 9:15. All right, so it's 8:50 right now. So 9:15, they expect it to be in Hart, Benson, Buckland, over top of you. That's why you need to be in your safe spot right now. Get away from the windows. Don't try to go outside and cover anything. Don't try to go outside and try to save anything. It's too late. Time is of the essence. Time is not your friend right now. The time that you have is precious, so use it wisely and get down into that shelter that you have. Let's take a look at where the velocity is right now. There we go. Oof.
Oh, that's a lot of hail.
That is a lot of hail. That whole purple into red, that is a lot of hail. Let's take a look at the velocity. We're starting to get on the edge of the Kansas City radar.
Yeah, we're getting on the edge of our viewing area as well.
That's true. Okay, we've got our spotter. We're trying to get in touch with our spotter. He is out there still. If we can get through to him before this moves out of our viewing area, it'd be interesting to hear. He's been chasing this thing all day. I mean, this thing started, near Tarkio?
Yeah, a little thunderstorm. That's how it started, around 3 or 4. Like, oh, this is getting started a little early.
Yeah, it was supposed to start about 5 or 6, according to the models. So yeah, it did start a couple hours early. And because it started a couple hours early, we had to deal with it a couple hours longer.
Which is almost a good thing. At least there was a little bit of daylight.
Right. The
When
daylight.
this came through.
But now that the sun's gone, and you've seen, we tried to show you the video, and it's just too hard to see, but we do have chasers out there once again. I mean, this thing, let's take a look. It's, you're not going to let me do that, are you? Okay. Let me get the watch. Trying to show you just how fast some of the winds are according to radar. Because at one point, 60-something mile per hour winds as far as what this thing could be spinning at. So that would be 120 because that's moving away into the radar. All right, let's put the warning back up there because that is important just to let everybody know where it is and where it's going. Keep looking here. Per Gundy County Emergency Management, no wind damage south or east of Trenton, but considerable hail damage. So it looks like if the tornado went through that area, it was more in the western side of Trenton, or if it was the RFD that caused the damage, at least there. But that was almost an hour ago when that moved through that particular storm.
Yeah,
or that steer.
I was going to say, I'm wondering if we can see the last hour of shear. Okay, there it is right there. This gives us a decent little idea.
Got your icon right there, your tornado icon right there.
Okay. All right. So there's the storm reports from there it is from Grundy County when they were calling it a tornado. So it looks like we may have had 2 different tornadoes. That was at 7:45. So that was an hour ago. There was a tornado there. Let me see if there's any sort of other. I'm not seeing that. I would like to be able to see the debris signature one more time through time, but we're starting to lose that a little bit. I mean, it says it's now south of Benson. So people south of Benson got to be in this your tornado safe place right now. It's very, very messy.
I'm sorry, that's my phone.
Okay, so I'm thinking. I'll look at the reflectivity because that's not helping at all. Let me get rid of all this junk real quick. All right.
The tornado watch has been canceled for a few areas, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Hail right now in Johnston, large hail possible in Johnston, Benson, large hail for you guys. The tornado velocity is not going to do us any good. We're too far away from the radar site. If it's going to be a tornado, it's going to be right. It's going to be right in this little notch, right there. So Buckland, I'll zoom in a little bit.
But look at Johnstown. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that hail they're getting hit with, and we know it could be up to baseball size, possibly up to softball size.
Johnston baseball.
Look at that from Mabry Road, Lyman, Kites. Oh, that whole area in black.
So Mesa Road, Manor Road, Buckland, you need to be in your tornado safe place. Hart, you are just outside the polygon, but prepare to heed an additional warning that may be coming here. This is north of Buckland. It's right there. Let me zoom in on this couple of these roads. Nolan Road.
Brookfield.
Not in Kansas City. Again, this is Nolan Road in northern Missouri.
Do you see Brookfield?
Yes.
That's where they're talking about it. It's sitting right now in Brookfield. Deer located tornado. Right,
Okay.
Confirmed
Okay.
tornado.
Let me
located
go
near
ahead.
Brookfield.
Go ahead and pull up the traffic computer. Pardon me. Pull up the traffic computer for full screen, and then we have our storm chaser Steve Pauley on the line right now. Steve is the one that is up there right now. I think he is just south of the storm, trying to get a good view of it. Again, his live stream is on the traffic computer. Steve, you've been on these storms for a couple of hours. What have you been seeing recently?
Well, just recently, within the last 10 minutes, it appeared to be a cone or a whip tornado just to my northeast, north of Linnaeus, and east of Highway 5. Experienced extreme RFD winds, probably 70, 80 miles an hour. We had power lines popping, and I couldn't advance any further from where I was at. I had to backtrack off of it, but I did get a view of it.
Hey, Steve, it's Mike Nico. Thanks for helping us and being with us tonight. I'm looking at your live stream right now. Give us an idea exactly where you are and what we're looking at here, please.
I'm just in the east edge of Brookfield. I'm looking up into the inflow notch of the storm, where the tornado would possibly be. The only problem is there's a lot of precip between myself and where the possible tornado would be located. When I viewed the cone or wedge tornado, I could see one side of it, but it was heavily wrapped in rain, and it is again as well.
That's kind of been the case throughout this. Once it was finally confirmed, it's been rain wrapped almost the whole time. Is that true from what your vantage point?
Yeah, yeah. You have to be right up in there to see it.
Yeah, good. Let's go back to this. Because I think they're trying to extend this tornado warning a little bit more. So, well, you're by Brookfield right now, Steve, or what's your latest city that you're by?
Yes, I'm in the east edge of Brookfield, looking to my northeast, looking into the area where the rotation would be.
Okay, I got you.
So you're a little bit behind it.
So they just
a little bit, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's about 3 minutes ago they went ahead and went with another confirmed tornado warning, located near Brookfield, moving east at about 30 miles per hour. Steve, we heard some of the storm chasers were saying maybe there was a couple of tornadoes, maybe a smaller one rotating around a larger one. Did you see anything like that?
I was not able to confirm that. I pulled up on the larger of the tornadoes.
Okay.
It's true. We did see reports of there was possibly a wedge at one time.
Yeah. Any hail? We've seen some gigantic hail. I mean, like this baseball-size hail, softball-size hail. Have you seen anything like that?
I have not. I've been fortunate enough to stay out of the downdraft area of the storm and skirt around where I need to be.
So the idea, and Steve, feel free to chime in at any moment here. You're the professional storm chaser, but the idea is the storm chasers try to stay south of the storm so they can look in it, and on the north side, and really like the entire northwest and east side is nothing but hail. So was that your goal, Steve? You just try to stay south to get a good view inside of it?
Yeah, the way these storms have been moving all day, they've been moving east, even a southeasterly component and trying to turn right. And the idea is you want to stay in the inflow region, or the inflow winds are blowing into where the possible rotation would be. So if you're over in the forward flank of the storm where all the rain and the hail would be, one, you're not going to see anything, and two, you're going to have a damaged vehicle in the process.
So tell us a little bit about the rear flank downdraft. You experienced that. That could have been what caused the damage in Trenton. We're not sure yet. Tell us a little bit about how you experienced that and what it does to the storm, or what it did to the storm when you experienced it.
Well, when you see that, you know there's something going on immediately to your east or northeast. And I could kind of see up in there with the lightning flashes, I could see the left side of a cone or a wedge tornado up in there with the lightning flashes. And as that wind is wrapping around the back side of the tornado in a counterclockwise fashion, the winds were buffeting me from the west.
Okay.
And I couldn't go any further at that point.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you because I'm looking at your stream right now. Can we pull that up real quick? And you have stopped, is that correct?
Correct, uh-huh.
What are we seeing right there?
You're just seeing, I think it is a little suspect. There's a lowering there just past the water tower you're probably looking at that's lit up. It says Brookfield on it.
Yeah.
That's elevated. It's just right over that water tower from my vantage point.
It looks like it might just be scud, or maybe a little bit of a lowering.
It could be scud. It could be a lowering, but it's hard to tell without getting the backlit of the lightning. But I can tell you it's not I don't believe it's a strong tornado by any means, because I don't have that RFD that I would suspect in my location where I'd be sitting here.
That's a good point.
I don't think it's anything major, but it does look suspect, and to the untrained eye, it might get called in. But I don't have strong RFD winds here like I should have if that was an actual tornado.
Okay, why would you have strong RFD winds?
Those winds would be wrapping around the backside of that tornado as it ramps up. And from my location, looking at it to the northeast, just over that water tower, I should be having 50, 60 on up mile-an-hour winds hitting me from the backside here, trying to wrap around that if I was in fact a tornado.
All right, well, at least that's something good that we can report. But man, this thing looks like a monster on the radar.
Yes, it's been grinding since 4 o'clock today. And
you've been chasing it the whole time?
Yes, we started southwest of Maryville today.
Well, Steve, I'm glad you did, because I know that we were talking earlier today with our group of storm chasers, and we were like, should we go out and do it? Is the cap going to hold? And it did for a little while, but it's busted on this one. This thing's been producing a ton of hail. Steve, thanks so much for calling in and showing us what you're seeing. Be sure to let us know if you come across anything else. I know you're pretty far east for where you call home. So we understand if you gotta go back, you're almost out of our viewing area as
Sure.
well. But we'll stay in touch this evening and drive safe.
How much
Oh, I'm
farther?
sorry. One second, Steve.
I was just going to ask, how much farther are you going to go?
I'm probably going to go over to the border of the viewing area, and then I'll stop, which is probably another 10 miles or so.
Okay, that's good to know. Then we will stick with you through that then. And again, as Wes mentioned, thank you, Steve, and I'm glad you've taught the people a little bit of the science behind the tornado, but also how to safely chase one. And we appreciate that because your safety is just as, it's as important as everybody else's safety when you're out trying to help us, keep the people safe that are in the path of this tornado. So thank you for doing that.
You bet. Glad to help.
All right, thanks again. All right, so we are looking at a tornado. We've been watching it on the ground, heading towards Buckland, Hart, Benson. This is the warning until 9:15, so we're at 9:03. We've got about 12 more minutes. And once it gets to Hart, it's technically out of our viewing area.
Yeah, you can zoom out and we'll get a bit of a better view of just where exactly what's wrong on that line there.
Yeah, let's kind of reorient everybody where we are and what we're doing because we're located in Kansas City, obviously, and Kansas City is our home. But all of these counties you see are our responsibility. And when a tornado warning is issued anywhere in these counties, we're on the air the entire time, and that's why we're here because lives are at stake. So far, we haven't heard of any injuries, but we've heard of plenty of damage out of this, whether it's been from hail, possibly the rear flank downdraft, or an actual tornado. So there's the new watch. It's interesting that
That's a severe thunderstorm watch too. Yeah, hit the home button. We'll go home. Yeah.